Happy Mother's Day to everybody this weekend. This is the last show before the weekend, so very exciting. Our guest is Ernie Bazillion. He is the track coach over at Amesbury. He's a teacher in the school system, and Ernie, it's been good to have you on. We talked earlier about how it's you didn't really know about Amesbury when you took the job, and now you've been here for 34 years.
Yeah.
It is a small world in a few ways. I actually went to, ended up being very good friends just coincidentally with your son in college, and I lived in Providence for several years, and he put a post up on Facebook one day about you, and I said, "Is that the same? Is it the same Coach Bazillion that from Amesbury?" And I did a little, and I said, "Jake, I had no idea," and there you go.
Yeah, it's a small world, I guess. You never know when you have a Facebook. We
exactly.
run into it. I guess.
I know, crazy, right? When you got the Providence pullover, I went to. A bunch of us, Jake included, your son there, had we went to the Big East Tournament Championship game at Madison Square Garden this year and had a blast. Didn't end the way we wanted it to, but it was a fun game. But good. So you get some the family blood in Providence, don't you? Jake isn't the only one.
Well, Jake is in Providence, and he stayed there after he graduated from PC, and then he's worked in state government for probably now about 10 years. But yeah, my youngest son, Mac, is a sophomore at Providence. He's in accounting and finance, and he also runs for the cross-country indoor and outdoor track team for
I wonder where he got that from.
Probably, I guess me a little bit. And anyways, but no, right now he's on his way out to the Big East Championships. I think it's out in Ohio this weekend, and just finished up some finals. I think he has one more when he gets back, but he's trying to make us proud.
There you go. Did you coach the kids?
No, I didn't coach the kids. They
No.
wanted to go kind of make it on their own somewhere, and they were. That's what they did. That's really kind of a hard thing to do, coaching your own kid, because you're never right.
Yeah. So you're happy
Either
you were
with
able to
them
avoid that?
or someone else's eyes.
Yeah. How about you able to get out to Providence and do the Federal Hill thing or whatever?
Yeah, we've been there a couple of times and so on. And
great college town. I loved it.
Yeah, it is. I've been to a couple of meets down there, the Dunkin' Donuts Center for a few basketball games, and it's been a nice experience for my oldest son and also for my youngest. Providence College has been very good to us.
Absolutely. So. Somebody was in here the other day. One of the interns or whatever the role is, and was thinking about Providence. So I gave it a very high mark. So feel free to ask if you have any questions. For those of you thinking, a lot of seniors out there I know thinking about school. Seniors are probably decided at this point, right? Probably juniors are next.
Right, yeah. And it's changed a lot since my oldest son went there. There was a new headmaster that came in, or resident, and there's a lot of new buildings, new business building, and some new dorms. And right now I think they're building like a basketball training center for their basketball team. That's
what happens when you have some success, right?
Yeah, and even they have the Ray Tracy track. That's somewhat new too. And I know when my oldest was there was no track. Even though they had one of the very very strong cross country program in the country, they would be training out of their high schools.
Do you get kids that you teach, or that you? You're a teacher, so you probably have to write those recommendations sometimes, right? You get asked every year, probably by
from
a couple,
time to time.
From time to time.
Yeah.
Do you get the decline? I always think that's like when there's like a teacher who gets like 10 of them. I always feel very badly for that teacher. I said that seems like a lot of work writing.
Yeah, the guidance counselor, like the upper level teachers, probably like in English or math or science or whatever. Like for the juniors and seniors, they probably get inundated with all those recommendations per year. Yeah, I usually get a couple a year, probably 3 or 4 usually from either a track athlete or a cross country runner.
You can't take those lightly either, right?
No.
Those have like real life implications.
No, they do.
You gotta take those things seriously.
Yeah, no, you have to.
Is there an art to writing those things, or is after 30 years you got this thing down?
No, there's a little bit of art. You try to make it personal. Some of your experiences you went through with the athlete, or if you had sometimes I've had the kids in class and so on, and think about how they've grown over the 5 or 6 years that you've known them, and so on. So you make it personal and so on, and usually mine is like a kind of like a character type reference and so on. It's a supplemental, and you talk about how they have grown and developed and so on, and if they're interested in track and field or cross country, you can sometimes just make a call to the coach and talk to that individual. Or now it's not like a call, but an email and so.
So you leave that door open if you want to call me and ask about this
Yeah,
person.
I would really think like kids that do cross country, indoor outdoor track, and are fairly successful. It does at least opens the door to the schools that they're interested in if they plan on competing or so on. But and I think a lot of kids don't realize that how many doors. You might not be getting a scholarship, but it will open that door to that school that you kind of want to go to.
Right.
And for some of those schools like the NESCAC or maybe even the Ivy League schools, that's a nice door to open. Like right now, I have one of my runners. She's at Yale and just finished her first year, and I have another boy right now. It's his second year at MIT, and both of those I've written recommendations for both of them and so on. But I think that running helped them in a certain way to be attracted to those schools.
And is there are you always, when these kids do that, they move on to the Yales and the MITs of the world, are you kind of always watching, whether it be just making sure you follow up in that newspaper article or whatever?
Yeah, no, I'm really happy for them. I'm fortunate that they come back to visit and so on, and just really proud that not everybody gets a chance to go to MIT or Yale or whatever, and when you see that, that's just like the icing on the cake. But sports can do different things for different people, and even just make you a better person. Especially track and field, like sometimes it tends to bring out the best in people and so on. And I look at probably like 5 or 6 years ago, I lost one of my assistant coaches, and he was battling cancer, and we put on this fundraiser for him, and Donnie Henniger from Newburyport and I got together, and we put on it was called Miles for Mike. And
Mike was?
Mike Farmer. He was our distance coach at the time. He was with me for like 19 years. And but anyways, make a long story short, the whole track community came out and raised a tremendous amount of money for his family, because he was a self-employed carpenter during the day, and he couldn't work while he was undergoing all these treatments. And so we put this Miles for Mike fundraising event on, and it just raised, like I say, a tremendous amount of money for his family. But eventually, he had passed away towards the middle of June that year. But it just shows you how supportive the track community can be, and it also was a reflection of how nice of a guy he was, because of what it was just unbelievable what that day was like.
What a great
him.
Story too. Yeah, that's nice to see. You get the people from Newburyport, and I'm sure really across the Cape Ann League.
Yes, the whole Cape Ann League turned out, and like I say, Donnie Henniger was like it was probably one of the best experiences of my whole life.
Wow,
I'll never forget that.
Something so tough, but turns into something.
It made him and his family. It made his last few weeks a lot easier, but also his family's life a little easier for a while.
Wow, very sweet.
Anyhow,
Coach Ernie Basilian here of Amesbury Track Field, and you talk about these. And one thing I keep noticing, and even before I had you on the show here, when we talked off the air, you seem to go out of your way to make sure you mention how good your assistant coaches are, which I always find is the something that a longtime head coach tends to do very well. Give a lot of credit to the assistants. And why don't you talk a bit about those guys right now, because I know they're kind of going to kick off your practice this afternoon, so you owe them a little thank you, I know.
No, like I say, longtime coach Keith Walton, he was a longtime teacher at Amesbury, who's probably been retired now for about 10 years. I would think he's probably one of the most knowledgeable weight throwing coaches, probably not only in the state, but probably in New England. And I think most people would agree with me. And
is that a dangerous job? Anybody ever get hit by like a shot put or something?
Not so much for him, but we did have a photographer up there once taking a picture, and she had actually gotten hit. She was taking a picture of someone throwing a discus and got hit right in the middle of the forehead.
Oh my goodness.
It was like someone took an axe, and you could hear this huge thud. And in fact, I thought maybe that would be it for her, but make a long